the question is, once I started the blog, not a lot of people were reading. Then how did my writing change once I realized people were reading it more often? And then how maybe did that affect the book?
Yeah.
Okay. I started writing the blog really as a way to storytell. Every blogger says this to my friends. My friends were reading it. No one else was really reading it. And then word goes, you find out, yes, people are reading it. I didn't really, when I knew people were reading it, I didn't change it. And people say, how can you put this stuff out there? And honestly, I had very good friends who at first felt a little slighted by the fact that I was writing such personal things on a blog that normally I would only reserve to tell them. So they felt like, I don't feel special anymore because now you're telling it to everybody. But then they got over it, and now I'll tell them a story and they'll be like, you gotta put this on the blog. So it has changed in that sense. I think when we start to fear what people are gonna think about what we write, we stop being honest. So I try to write everything, not everything, but a lot of what I write that matters to me, as if no one's ever gonna read it. And then I put it out there because I think it'll help someone.
How does one reach your blog?
2 more questions. Great questions. But that didn't count. No, 2 more questions. Reach my blog. It's stephanieklein.com. So just my name and then add a .com. Yes?
How can you live in a place like Austin?
How can you live in a place like Austin, Texas? Well, it's hot. But I get to write by the pool all day long when I'm not throwing up from morning sickness. So you have excellent music all the time, every night, no matter where you go, with the misters, so you don't really sweat too much. There's air conditioning everywhere. And honestly, we moved to Austin because we wanted someplace warm, but I didn't want to move to Florida because everyone from New York moves to Florida. And I didn't want that. I wanted to meet people who never lived in New York, who didn't know the New York lifestyle. I mean, I love New York. I love being back. I love it. I can't say enough great things about it. But Austin also, I felt like I was ready for a change. And for me, going to LA isn't that big of a change. Going to Miami is not that big of a change. Going to Austin, Texas is an adjustment. For me, that meant growth. Like, I already know I can make it in Big Apple. I want to see what it's like to make new friends again for the first time when you don't have a job, you know, a full-time job working in an office, when you're not in school. How do you make friends again? And it's a growing process for me. So, and I'm happy about it. I love coming-of-age stories, and my next book, not to start plugging that already, but I'll just tell you, is I think maybe going to be titled Moose. And it's my memoir about fat camp and growing up, and I went to fat camps growing up and what it's like to overcome that and where insecurities come from with all that, and the fun part about putting your face in the lake for the first time and the signed pillowcases and all that fun, just regular camp stuff, but from the perspective of someone who was getting no play at home, and then all of a sudden you're at fat camp and everyone's fat, so it's like everyone's having sex. It's like 2 pigs fighting over a milk dud kind of thing. So that's the next book that I'm working on right now. So thank you so much.
Very much for coming tonight. Thank you very much to Stephanie. It was fantastic. Everyone who's seated, if you want to get your excited, please stay seated. We'll get you robot.